What's up, y'all? It's me, Sherry T. Listen, I want to talk to you today real quick about identity. Do you know who you are? I mean, do you really know who you are? Do you really know who it is that you've been called to be? Do you know what it is that you've been called to do? Do you realize the power that lies on the inside of you? Do you realize the greatness that lies within? Do you realize just how brilliant you are and just how awesome you are? You know, yesterday before I woke up, I had a brief vision. And in the vision, I saw this father walking over to his daughter, and he began to talk to her and tell her who she is and tell her who she was and who she was going to be. And as the father began to talk to his daughter, I could see that she was filled with emotion. I could see the tears welling up in her eyes because it was like a confirmation. It was almost like it was an assurance that who she saw herself being and becoming, her father came and he affirmed who she was. And I began to think about how God does us. You know, you may not have had a father to speak into your life and to affirm you and to tell you who you are and to tell you who you could become and to tell you what he saw in you. But I'm here to tell you that our Father, God, will affirm all of that in you. I had dealt with some things over the past few months, and I had taken the time to really just get in touch with what was going on internally, what was going on emotionally, what was going on mentally. And I began to find that there were some times in my life when I needed affirming that I did not receive. And so as I went through this supernatural healing process with God, he began to affirm to me who I was to become, what I was going to do. And I could see myself coming alive. I could see myself being healed from the inside out and becoming a totally different person and becoming a better person because I needed my father to come and to affirm who I was, to tell me that he saw greatness in me, to tell me that he saw and recognize my awesomeness and recognize my brilliance. You know, I know we could say, well, you could tell yourself that, but it's nothing like a father being able to share those things with you and tell you what it is that he sees within you. And so if you don't have that in a natural father, if you don't have that in a father figure, I'm here to tell you that God will come and he will show you and he will tell you and he will assure you, he will encourage you, and he will remind you of who it is that he's called you to be. If you are open to hearing him speak to your heart and speak into your mind. And as I laid there and I looked at this vision, one of the things that I heard before I woke up, and I know that it was God speaking to me, and he said that people treat you the way they do because they know who you are. And they know that you don't know who you are. People treat you the way they do because they know who you are. And they know that you don't know who you are. They know that you don't know you're awesome. They know that you don't know you're brilliant. They know that you don't recognize your own abilities. They know that you don't recognize your greatness and your tenacity and the strengths that lie within you. They know that, and that's why they treat you the way they do. But in order for you to become who it is that you have been destined to be, you're going to have to seek the Father for your true identity. See, your true identity does not lie in your job. It doesn't lie in your salary. It doesn't lie in how many children you have or whether or not you have a successful marriage or whether or not you're married at all. It doesn't lie in the fact that you have a beautiful face or you have a nice body. Your identity is not in the clothes that you wear. It's not in the shoes that are on your feet. It's not in your handbags. It's not in your cars, the type of car that you drive. It's not in the type of business that you own. Your true identity could only be found in God, in Christ. That is who is going to give you your true identity. And once you find out who you really are, when you recognize and come into your true identity and who God has called you to be, that's when life begins. You know, I remember maybe a year or so ago, I was I had already started a new position, a new job. I had relocated to Washington, D.C. with the support of my husband. And one of the things that he said to me was that while you're climbing the ladder to success, you need to make sure that the ladder is leaning up against the right building. My identity was in my accomplishments. My identity was in my career. My identity was in who everybody else saw me being. But it wasn't my true self. And now that I've allowed God to heal me from the inside out of childhood wounds, of things that I had suffered, of traumas that I had been through in my life, it's like my true identity started coming forth. And until you can allow God to heal you, until you can face what it is that you've been through, until you can really start to vocalize the things that have really hurt you and the things that have caused you to be afraid to really shine through, until you do that, you're not going to be your true self. People are only going to see what you want them to see. They're only going to see a mask. And it's time for you to come from behind the mask and allow yourself to be identified by the people that God has placed in your life. And it's time for you to take off the mask so that you could be identified by the world and they could see the wonderful person that you are. They could see the intelligent person that you are. They could see the strong person that you are. They could see who you truly are. You have to come from behind the mask. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you allow yourself to be healed from whatever it was that damaged you. It's very important that you come into your true identity, into your true self. Because until you do that, you won't be happy. Until you come into who you truly are, you're not going to be happy. You are not going to feel fulfilled. You won't even be everything that you need to be to the people that God has assigned to you. Because there are people that God has assigned to each and every one of us. You may not feel like you have been assigned any person to impact in the earth, but you've been assigned someone. You know, you've been assigned the ability to influence other people, to impact other people's lives. And before you can truly do that, you have to know who you are. You have to walk in your true identity. You have to walk in your true self. And before you can actually walk in your true self, you're going to have to, number one, get healing from the things that has caused you to walk in a false identity. You're going to have to get healed from the things that have caused you to pretend to be something that you're not, so that you can hide from the true person that you are. What happened to me is that I thought that the things that I had suffered in my life, the people that walked out, the rejection that I felt, the abandonment that I went through, the traumas that I faced, I thought that it was because of who I was. And so I thought that if I become somebody else, then those things won't happen to me because they happened to me because of the person that I was. Maybe that person was no good. Maybe it was something wrong with her. So let me become somebody else. And it wasn't until I got healing, supernatural healing on the inside, that I realized there was nothing wrong with her. It was something wrong with them. So don't think that you have to become somebody else because they did you that way because you were who you were. So now let me become something else or somebody else. No, who you were was good enough. Could we all use improvement? Yes. We can all use, maturity, and we can all level up in certain areas of our lives. But to change who you are and to stop being the person that God has called you to be because somebody did you wrong, you've got to get healing so that you can start walking in your true identity. Because then and only then will you be able to walk in your true purpose. And some people are always saying, well, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I've been, placed on this earth to do. I'm just really not sure what I'm here for. And I believe that the reason why you're not sure of what you're here for is because you are operating out of a false identity. You're walking around behind a mask. And until you remove the mask and until you address the issues and the things that caused you to mask up, you're not going to know what your purpose is. You'll jump from thing to thing. You'll jump from hobby to hobby, from job to job. You'll jump from career to career. You'll jump from business to business. Been there, done that. Speaking from experience. You'll jump to all of these different things until you really sit down and figure out who you are. Figure out how did you get to where you are. Figure out how all of this stuff came about. But it's going to take honesty. It's going to take you being honest with yourself, you coming to grips with who you are, or who you are pretending to be, or who you have kind of changed your identity into. You're going to have to sit down and you're going to have to write everything out. You're going to have to lay it all out on the table, because you're not going to ever be able to overcome anything that you don't confront. You're never going to be able to overcome anything that you don't identify. The things that are going on in your life, the anger, the sadness, the depression, the mood swings, all of these things that are going on with you, you're going to have to lay all of that stuff out and then start identifying when those things begin to take place in your life. When did I first notice that I had an anger problem? When did I first notice that I had no respect for men? When did I first notice that I had no respect for women? When did I first notice that I was fearful of crowds, or fearful of speaking in front of people? Or when did I first notice that I started getting shy and not wanting people to see me or not wanting to be seen? When did those things happen? You have to identify so that you can start taking the steps that you need in order to come out of where you are so that you can be who you're supposed to be. The funny thing about all of this, or I guess I won't say funny thing, but the most profound thing about all of this is that people, like how God spoke to me, that they treat you the way they do because they know who you are and they know that you don't know who you are. I think back on how I was treated as a child. I thought about how I was bullied as a child for certain things, or just the different things that mean girls do to you when you're in school, and just all of the different things that I had endured, and not even just in the high school years, but even once I started my career, and once I went to the military, and once I got out of the military and started my other career. And it's like people see who you are. They know it. And the crazy thing about the enemy is that he wants to send people your way who is going to try to discourage that person that you're supposed to be. And it'll work every single time unless you decide that you are going to lay everything out on the table, identify where it all came from, and then allow God to heal you from the inside out so that you can then remove the mask and become the person that everybody else sees. See, there's a great person that's watching this video today. There's a brilliant man. There's a brilliant woman. There is a excellent leader that is watching this video today. And you may not see yourself as that, but you are that. And the way people treat you and the things that they say is an indication of who you really are. And so allow God to heal you from the inside out. so that you can remove the mask and you can really show up and be who it is that you've been called to be. I pray that this video blesses you. I pray that you found yourself in this and that you will make the steps or take the steps necessary to really just walk in your true, authentic self so that you can live the life that God has designed for you to live. Until next time, God bless.